President Trump announcing he is taking control of Washington, D.C. and the police and deploying the National Guard.
I saw this piece earlier. It's very interesting. They're going to say a couple things here that trigger me to no fucking end. But unfortunately, that's the name of the game now. You're going to hear the Fox News host say, who cares about statistics? What actually matters is anecdotes. Okay? Get ready. Because obviously the data doesn't correspond to the narrative that these guys are fucking cultivating. So either you have two options there. Either you tackle the data, you directly fight back and you say the data is wrong for this reason or that reason, or you just completely drop that and go, crime is up because I feel like crime is up. Okay? It's my personal feeling. It's my personal feeling that matters more. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. My feeling is that crime is up. I see black people all over the place. I see homeless people all over the place. And that scares me. And for that reason, I think we need the military.
Mark, the dynamic was so fascinating yesterday because you have the mayor come out and go, well, crime is down. I don't know why he's doing this. He's got a pandemic mindset. But almost everyone in the press room is.
This is the best part. This is the best part. Get ready. Brian killed me about to pop off.
Living in Washington or the surrounding areas. So you don't need to see a bar graph or a pie chart.
Don't look at it. Don't look at the pie graphs. Don't look at the bar chart. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. My feelings, and your feelings. Oh, you don't actually feel like crime is actually that significant of a problem in DC, or you feel like it's gotten significantly better? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. My feelings over your feelings. Please stop. Stop looking at facts. Don't look at the data. Don't look at the data. What are you, gay? What are you, woke? They're fucking the framing here from a mainstream instrument of media is so alarming, dude. Like, these guys are supposed to be. There's certain things that they're not supposed to do. This is one of the things that they're not supposed to do, okay? As someone who studies criminology and lives in the DMV, this shit is so infuriating. It's just like, it's so fucking frustrating to be like, no, don't look at the data. Data lies. Data is a liar. Please, your feelings, that's what matters.
The sense that no matter your proclivity or what you thought of the president, the people in that room know there's a problem with crime in that city, regardless of what stat is out there.
Brian, I couldn't agree with you more because statistics don't tell the entire story. And obviously, if you're a victim of crime or if you know somebody.
Statistics don't tell the reality. Oh, that's right. Hey, man, perhaps there is a need for statistics for this exact same reason. Because personal anecdotes, especially as it pertains to crime, are so emotional. When you have a degree of emotional investment, when you actually have like a low impact crime, let's say someone broke into your car. Okay, someone broke into your car. They didn't even steal anything. They just broke your window. That is a costly endeavor for you. But more importantly, it's an emotional endeavor. Why is it an emotional endeavor? Because you feel like your sense of security has been ripped away from you. I totally understand why someone who's been victim to such an act is going to feel insecure, is going to feel scared. Okay, so that person is obviously going to think crime is actually completely fucking out of control. It's gotten out of hand, right? This is precisely the reason why we need empirical evidence. Why do we need empirical evidence? Because anecdotes are clouded by bias, okay? And especially when it comes to something like crime, if you have been mugged or if you have experienced some kind of crime, low impact, high impact, doesn't matter. Your personal relationship with this, your personal relationship with whether or not crime is completely out of control is going to be completely out of whack. We have no way, you have no way at that point to like make an assessment. It's just your own personal individual experience. And it is completely clouded by the emotional impact that had on your life. This is precisely the reason why we have to rely on data to make policy decisions. Because if we don't rely on data to make these policy decisions and we rely on like personal anecdotes, then we're fucking cooked. Then this kind of insane enforcement comes into mind as the only solution. What fits best their narrative, no matter how valid evidence are. Shouldn't we focus on this fear or fight against it with emotions, feelings, rather than facts? I mean, sure, that plays a role in this commentary as well, certainly. But like first and foremost, I think it's important to address not only the actual facts, not only the reality, the facts, but also talk about why these guys have completely moved away and sidestepped the importance of like doing any sort of like real data analysis and simply are at the mercy of individual anecdotes, right? Because the difference to this is just like doing a man on the street interview with regular citizens of DC and asking them if they like having military on the fucking streets. Does that make them feel safe? The problem is the media never does that. Okay. Like, I'll give you another example of crime panic and also bullshit over enforcement of crime panic narratives. New York City subways are some of the safest around the planet, but there are still obviously incidents that take place in New York City subways. If you were to ask people in the media, they say it's bedlam. Okay. They say New York City subways are unimaginably unsafe, that there is a murder happening every 5 seconds. Okay. And what do you have to do to combat this fear that people have? You have to send in as many fucking militarized police forces as possible to the New York City subway so they can sit there and play Candy Crush. Okay. But at the time, if you were to ask people how they felt about all of these like heavy duty, heavy set militarized cops at subway stations playing Candy Crush, they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. Like the people who are actually commuters don't like it. But it doesn't fucking matter because you can frame you can frame it in an incredibly biased way. You can always find someone that says like, I feel much safer now that I know, Officer Hernandez playing Candy Crush on his phone is here collecting thousands of dollars in overtime. You know what I mean? Like you can find people that will say that. So you can craft a successful narrative around like how great this is actually. And that's precisely what Fox News does, as opposed to liberal media outlets don't do that, to develop a counter narrative to say like, this is not something that people are fucking with. They don't like this. Doors open. Doors open. Wait, hold on. Feelings of unsafety is because guns are illegal. That's the other thing. You know what? One of the craziest things that they're showing in DC, they're like, gun violence is up. Gun violence is much higher in DC than these other fucking nations, right? It's like, dude, yeah. It's because they have hella guns, man. It's because we live in America. The solution to gun violence is obvious. It's gun control, but you don't want to do that. It's so fucking stupid. It makes me so mad that they do this thing that otherwise liberals used to do to describe like how bad gun violence is, where they'll like post gun violence numbers in DC to be like, look at DC gun violence numbers as opposed to fucking, Honduras or some shit. And it's like, okay, yeah, because we're gunned up. Everybody's got a gun. Motherfuckers have guns for their guns, okay? We're printing guns.
It matters a much bigger deal to you as opposed to just seeing something on a bar graph. And you asked a question about the reporters. I'll tell you, I went to the Starbucks yesterday before going to the White House. I asked this barista, she's got a 4-year-old boy. She's out there every day at 5 in the morning working her butt off. I said, what do you think about the National Guard coming? She goes, thank God they've got to get the city under control, because she deals with the homeless in the store. She's got to deal with the crime in Anacostia. DC residents, yes, they are aware that this is going to be a huge political fight, but there is absolutely a crime problem in the nation's capital.
Yeah, if you live in a neighborhood, you just want safety. You don't care how it's done. So Donald Trump said that he's invoking this under Section 740 of the DC Home Rule Act. He had to notify Congress, right? Yeah. And he is able to bring in the National Guard for the next 30 days without having a vote from Congress.
Brother, a cool story, by the way. But also, even if it was true, how is the military the solution to this? We're such a stupid society, man. We are so fucking stupid. This wave of anti-intellectual thought has completely destroyed any kind of good governance that we could have. Okay? It's over. It's done. It's fucking Jover. It's just, there are homeless people everywhere. Okay. How do we solve it? I don't know. Fix the housing market. Offer them fucking permanent shelter. Okay? And then start the rehabilitation process with the housing first policy. Okay. Those are successful methods of combating homelessness. Nah, I don't want to do that. We should just kill the homeless with the military. We should use the military to kill the homeless. Okay. We'll just go with that one. Like, nobody asked why the guy is homeless, how he got there, how we can make sure that this doesn't happen again. We're just like, oh, I don't want to see it. Gross. Get him out of here. Kill him. Kill him with the military. Kill him dead.
Congress, is that right?
Ainsley, that is right. And he did notify the appropriate committees yesterday. So basically, the clock is ticking. This gives Congress until mid-September to decide whether or not they want to extend the emergency. But this is unprecedented. We don't know what this is going to look like in the next week, 2 weeks, whether or not this is actually going to be well received by D.C. residents or if there's going to be pushback. My bet, Ainsley, guys, would be that by the weekend, when there's going to be an uptick in whether or not there's people out and about, whether we see more crime and how it's handled, if people say this is a good thing, or they're saying this is going in the wrong direction. But we had a fatal shooting just last night. So crime certainly, that was my favorite point, was that the council was saying there is no crime emergency. And then we had a fatal shooting 1 mile from the White Logan Circle.
Yeah. Of one fatal shooting a mile away from the White House does not mean there's a crime emergency. What are you talking about? There's never going to be zero crime, dude. You say that there is no crime emergency because crime rates in DC are down to 30-year lows. Okay. Well, my retort to that is that a crime happened last night. Oh shit, dude. I didn't realize that not having an imminent crime emergency, I didn't realize that meant that like, no crimes are supposed to happen ever. Fucking got him. Sick. You know what the worst part about this is that the worst part of this narrative is that like a lot more people find comfort in this kind of fucking argumentation. And when the overwhelming majority of society is looking at it and saying, what the fuck do you mean there's no crime, a murder happened? And that's like the best possible counter narrative against anyone that tries to say, hey, you have to look at the data to make these decisions. Like, what are you talking about? Like, people have actually tackled crime. Crime is obviously going to happen. It's not good that it's happening. And we should continue to try to solve this problem. But the real way to solve this problem is by focusing on the underlying material circumstances in which crime manifests. When you say that, the easiest counter to that is shut the fuck up, you nerd. You're woke and gay. Crime is happening and I'm scared. So we have to kill them. We have to kill them all. That's it. It's endlessly easy to be right wing. It's endlessly easy to make the person, your interlocutor, look like a fucking silly person by simply saying data is woke, data is lame, you're a nerd, shut the fuck up, my vibes over, my vibes and everybody else's vibes over whatever kind of fucking weird narrative you're attempting to push for. I'm scared.
Our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history.
Whoa, wait a minute. What? What the fuck? What the heli? What the heliante? Wait, hold on. I'm confused, bro. I didn't know he was just a little guy, by the way. That's kind of funny. Interesting. I guess it's already working. Donald Trump's true positioning has worked already in spectacular ways, in ways that you never thought was possible. Pre-crime is down. Interesting.
In modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities, our children, and the murder rates are...
Interesting. So I guess crime is down after all. The reason why they won't use statistics is that they would have to show that red states have higher rates of crime than blue, and they will never admit that to their base. Yeah.
Right. We've heard stories for years. We've seen camera crews be attacked. But I'm sorry, their questioning of the president during the press conference yesterday wasn't reflective of that. And they kept citing numbers. Well, we have some numbers for you. So if you compare Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia's crime to everyone in the country, when it comes to total violent crime, it's the 10th highest in the country. When it comes to homicides, it's the 4th highest in the country. And vehicle theft, which we've heard this for years now with the carjack, they're number 1 in the country. So don't tell us that it's safe and the president's overreacting and that the numbers are going down when this is the case.
Yeah, we hear all about drugs down in Colombia, right? Well, when you compare D.C. to other countries around the world, look how much higher the murder rates in that capital city per 100,000 people is.
What's one aspect of the murder rates that are seemingly so much lower in these other capital cities? I can't seem to put my finger on the trigger. What could it be? Let me see. Hold on. What could it be? I just can't seem to figure out what the reason is. Okay? What could it be that Paris, London, all these other places, like, there's only fucking one. There's only one gun store in the entire fucking state of Mexico, in the entire nation, okay? They get all their guns from us. We give them the guns in exchange for drugs, of course. And even then, it's seemingly lower. What could it be? I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's because we are the gun burger nation state on the planet. America is an incredibly violent country, and it's incredibly easy to be violent in this country.
D.C. has almost 28. Colombia, 15. Mexico City, almost 11. Islamabad, 9.2. Lima, Peru, 7.6. Paris, 1.6. You get the idea. But D.C. is, 27 times higher than London?
So here's the thing. I think the mayor gets it. So she was like torn at her press conference because what city wouldn't want additional law enforcement to help suppress crime? It makes them look better. Number one, you want to make sure your neighbors are safe, and everybody knows it's not safe. The numbers are down to compare it where it was. And then I see this story yesterday. The Metropolitan Police Department confirmed that Mike Pulliam was placed on paid administrative leave. Why? Because he accused his commander of deliberately falsifying crime data. So Pullman, the former commander of the 3rd District of the Columbia Heights, was placed on leave with pay and told he's under investigation for, get this, questionable changes to crime data. Now, he says that came a week after he filed a complaint against the executive assistant chief for doing the same thing. So
the crime
one way or another,
might not be right?
So more problems with the numbers. We always wonder, what are you doing with the numbers? It doesn't feel as safe. In New York City, they say it's never been safer. Eric Adams was here saying that. Well, you go, it doesn't feel that.
Just saying. It's not even a question, okay? And it's not because red states are inferior or anything like that. It's because they have looser gun laws. It's that simple. It blows my mind. It fucking blows my mind that we just don't even, we don't discuss this. America's murder capitals 2025 ranking of the deadliest cities. As far as the murder rate, as far as cities with the highest murder rate, it's poverty and access to weapons. That's it. When you have poverty and you have access to weapons, it's a PvP unlocked area, okay? America is a PvP server. American cities are a PvP server. There is a major reason why people talk about how fucking safe they feel walking in the streets of European capitals. There's theft that happens there too, But it's because motherfuckers don't have guns. And you know that. So when you don't have guns, when you don't have readily available weapons, okay, when the guy coming up to you probably doesn't have an arsenal under his fucking coat, you feel a lot safer. Income inequality has a higher correlation than straight poverty, for sure. Yes, income inequality is right. It's not just poverty. It's poverty relative to wealth. I mean, even wealth and poverty are relative concepts anyway. But if you have an area that is wrought with poverty and then an area that is not, an area that is wealthy, you're going to have a lot of crime.